Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Joy Bays, and I am the marketing manager here at Innovia. And presenting today is Gino Pack, our solution architect and partner success manager. Before I hand it off to Gino, I just want to draw attention to the Q&A at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you do have any questions during the presentation, please go ahead and put them there. And then as we go along, we will try and answer them or try and get to them at the end of the presentation. And with that, Gino, I'll go ahead and hand it off to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Joy. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Innovia webinar. And this is the Innovia Wave Report. So what we're going to talk about today is all of the packed features, I would say, that are included in the Business Central 2025 Wave 1 release, also known as version 26 of Business Central. As Joy mentioned, my name is Gino Pack. I'm a solution architect here at Innovia Consulting. I've been working with Nav and Business Central for over 15 years now. And if you want to reach out to me, my email address as well as my LinkedIn profile is here. I'm very active in the community, enjoy talking with everyone. So if you ever want to jump on the phone and talk about any of the items that I talk about here today, just feel free to reach out. But I hope you get something out of today's conversation. The 2025 release wave 1, I have a typo in there. The 2025 release wave 1 notes for Business Central it's a pretty packed release. A lot of it is focused on enhancing performance, enhancing supply chain, enhancing Copilot and AI. I know that's a term everyone has been hearing a lot, but today, I want to go ahead and focus on these main areas that are listed on the screen because there is just a lot. So I'm not going to cover everything. Some stuff I will gloss over a little bit, but Microsoft release notes are there, and then you can also reach out to Innovia if you have any questions. But a lot of the features that I'm going to talk about are going to be released between now and October of this year. So even though I may be talking about it, it may not be in the current version of version 26 that you're on. It may be coming out in a cumulative update, but this is all the stuff that Microsoft is planning on releasing to the Business Central product over the next couple of months. So to start us off, Microsoft made an announcement at a conference a couple weeks ago that they now officially purchased the businesscentral.com domain. I know everyone who's listening may be like, what, they never owned that before? No, they didn't. Businesscentral.com was not a thing a couple of months ago. But Microsoft now owns it. They're trying to level up to the other competitors that are in this SMB ERP space. So now if you go to businesscentral.com, you can be directed right to the Business Central landing page for Dynamics 365. So makes it easier place to get to all of the resources that is Business Central. Jumping right into new features. So we're going to start looking at some of the new features that are in the core application of Business Central. So nothing specific to a module. To start off, a couple of years ago, and yes, I'm going to say years, Microsoft released a new pricing functionality, a new sales price experience. Now, this is not enabled by default. You have to go and enable it within feature management, but it's not been turned on permanently yet. But what Microsoft did was to make it a lot easier to update prices in bulk for companies who require the flexibility in how sales prices are updated. Microsoft has extended its edit in Excel functionality to the sales price lines. So you can go in and open up a sales price list, and then open the edit in Excel functionality for the lines, do a mass update to the lines, and then publish it back to Business Central using Excel. So makes life a lot easier when you're updating prices in bulk. Microsoft has improved cost adjustment processes within Business Central. The three main areas are in regards to iterative adjustments. If you're a high volume transaction company, Forced adjustments, so you can rerun a cost adjustment for entries that have incorrect cost. And then also there's a lot of Microsoft identified and eliminated a lot of bottlenecks based on just a lot of telemetry feedback that was coming back. And they made a lot of code changes in the background, which also made performance improvements significant for cost adjustments in Business Central. And we all know that cost adjustment is an important process of the Business Central ecosystem. And it could be a bottleneck, especially for organizations that do have high transaction volume. But also, Microsoft is making it a lot easier within this release to help troubleshoot cost adjustment processes by adding things like notifications when there's potential issues, incorrect settings or data discrepancies, but also they're adding some self-diagnosis tools with messages that warn you if things like cost adjustment is not running, inventory periods are not in use, there's non-adjusted periods or orders, long-running items that have been excluded, etc. And I took a couple of screenshots here to be able to show you what those additions are within Business Central. So to start, we have the adjust cost until valuation date process, as well as the ability to adjust costs for a specific order, as well as if it's been finished, if it's been invoiced, or if the cost has been adjusted. So you can identify which items or orders have not been completed yet. Also gives you here's a screenshot of the notifications. At the top screenshot and the bottom screenshot will allow you, shows you the messages that are associated with your cost adjustment process in the system. So you can go ahead and take action on them, run some tests, or go ahead and resolve those cost adjustment issues. So a lot of ways that you can analyze the cost adjustment process. It's not hidden in the background. You don't have to comb through a lot of data. You can go ahead and grab actionable insights into your cost adjustments within Business Central. The next area I want to go ahead and take a look at is the service and platform. Excuse me. New features for Business Central, 2025 Wave 1. So within the service and platform, now these are a lot of things that are happening in the background, but have a huge increase to the way the system performs on a daily basis for you as you're using the most common areas. So to start off, calculating values only for visible flow fields. Everyone understands what flow fields are if you've been in the Navision, Nav, Business Central community for a long time. There are these fields that show up on places like your list pages or your card pages or in fact boxes where you're calculating a certain amount of data. And currently in the system, on previous versions of Business Central, even if you were not showing those fields on the page, the database was still calculating them, or the code was still calculating them in the background. Starting with Business Central 2025 version or Wave 1 or version 26, if the fields are not displayed on the page or the list or the fact box, they're not going to calculate now. So that definitely decreases the page load time, especially if you're an organization. It's very common for fields on master record pages to be added if they're even custom. So this is a huge performance improvement, and it definitely streamlines the user experience and optimizes resource usage. So this is a feature that's not enabled by default yet. It will be in a later release, but if you want to turn this feature on, you can go to the feature management page in Business Central, and it will give you the ability to turn that feature on. Another performance update is unlocking posting concurrency. So in Business Center, so what Microsoft is doing is they're going through a lot of their ledger and subledger and posting code and tables and enhancing the way the system posts to these particular tables when you are running a posting routine. Currently in Business Central, as you can see from the screenshot, we're looking at the warehouse register. But when a user is posting, the posting routine happens in a sequential order. Okay, what Microsoft is doing is they're changing the way the posting routine works to handle postings in a non-sequential order. What this is going to do is it's going to allow for a decrease in database deadlocks. Have you ever gotten those warnings that say, hey, another user is posting this table right now, please wait until they're done and then try again. Very common error you see in the Navision Nav Business Central world. That'll be minimized in this particular instance where you are able to then post concurrently with other users that are posting to the same table. So this is actually a huge endeavor by Microsoft. And as you can see along the right-hand side of the screen, all of the different areas that they are making updates to when it comes to the posting routines and posting to the ledger. Alrighty. Next, we're going to jump into the user experience. So as a user, as I'm interacting with the application, what's going to be changing? What is available for me to be able to see in the system when it comes to the client or, improvements when it comes to productivity? There's a couple items here in this release that I want to talk about. The first one is the ability to preview PDFs directly from the web client. So if you have PDF, if you utilize document attachments within Business Central, a lot of times you are posting attachments to things like sales or purchasing documents or item record, customer record, vendor record, those type of things. And a lot of times you're posting a PDF. And in previous versions, you only had the ability to download that PDF that's attached. So it gets downloaded to your system and then you can open it with whatever default PDF viewer that's on your computer. Now the attachments, if it is a PDF, will open directly in the Business Central client so you can view them without having to download them. And then from there, you can go ahead and take action. If you need to download the document, you can download it. But what Microsoft found is that a lot of users are like if you're opening up a sales invoice and you want to see the related attachments to the sales invoice, all you're really doing is looking at the document. You don't need to download it, save it to your computer, and then open it. So it's just reducing the amount of steps for you to complete that specific task. Microsoft is also optimizing the screen real estate usage within Business Central. I apologize that these screenshots are blurry, but I wanted to demonstrate a point here by showing you a previous and new comparison to the screens in an older version of Business Central and a newer version of Business Central. As you can see that the with your fact box closes, the overlay pages that are coming up, the card pages that are coming up are showing up wider. And with your fact box open, what happens is the fact box is not taking the screen real estate away from the card page. Instead, the page is becoming wider to accommodate both the fact box and the card page. So that's just a mini, a mini item, but a lot of times we'll find ourselves being annoyed with the fact box being open. We end up shutting it because we can't see the data that we need. But also Microsoft is allowing you to resize the fact box. So as you can see from this particular video, it was showing you how to resize the fact box in and out. So it's a very cool addition as well. So you can resize the fact box to the way that you need it. And then there's also a bunch of other various user interface enhancements that you can read here. They just updated the view of the fact box, adding some rounded corners. If you're using embedded Power BI experiences, they're changing the way the controls look on there, adding some descriptions to the Role Explorer and a Report Explorer area, updating some search fields in the company picker, and then adding some dividers and refreshing some icons. So there's just overall general visual improvements, nothing major, but just some notable mentions. Next, to jump into the big discussion that everyone is hearing today about Copilot and AI. Now, in this release, I do have to say that there are some pretty cool things in here. Instead of coming up with a release of 20 to 30 items, Microsoft is really focused on agentic AI. Now this is now integrating, this is taking Copilot and AI to the next step in Business Central and now adding what are called agents. Agents that are able to work alongside you and take up a lot of the tasks that you would normally do within the ERP system. So Microsoft has two agents. One is released right now in Business Central in a production preview capacity, and the other agent is going to be coming out later this year, but I'd like to share a little bit about each of them with you today. So the first one is our sales order agent. This one was announced sometime second half of last year, and it was in public preview where you as a customer, if you were on Business Central SaaS, you could sign up for a preview of this and be able to play with it and give your feedback directly to Microsoft. Well, this is now released in a public preview fashion or public production preview fashion. So you can actually enable this in your production environment and be able to use it. But what it does is the sales order agent automates and optimizes your sales processes, giving you more productivity and integrates seamlessly with your systems, providing real-time insights and freeing your sales team to focus on selling. What you can do is experience way faster order processing, improved accuracy. So what the sales order agent does is it captures email messages and gives the ability to create quotes and orders autonomously. It works independently, but it does work under user direction. As you can see from the graph on the right-hand side of the screen here, you can sort of see a flow of how the agent works. A request comes in, the agent reviews it. A user can then review and confirm and have interaction there. The quote will then automatically be created, where the user can then review it. The agent will then send it out, and once the customer approves it, the agent then will review it, create the order from the quote, and confirm it and send it out. So as you can see, there's a little bit of back and forth. It's almost like having your own sales assistant built within the system to be able to do a lot of the mundane tasks on data entry and processing and allow you to focus just to make sure that the quality is there that you need. Microsoft has also released some pricing on this as well, because it is something that is utilizing Copilot agents in the background. So Microsoft has released its pricing methodology, which is going to be consumption based. So if you've ever used Azure and you're paying by usage and by consumption, it's going to be a similar pricing model there. So you'll notice that the sales order agent is available in the system in the top right-hand side of the Business Central client. You can see a little SO button. When you click that, you can go ahead and configure your sales order agent. Configuring it is fairly easy. You have to link it with a mailbox and go through a little bit of setup. But once it's active, the sales order agent will start monitoring that mailbox that you connected to Business Central and start pulling orders it identifies into Business Central. And as you can see on the right-hand side, a screen will pop up that will allow you to interact with the agent. So it's a pretty cool addition. The second agent that Microsoft is releasing that'll come out in the second half of 2025 is the payables agent. And it's utilizing core functionality from the e-documents connector that was released in Business Central and enhanced over the last number of releases. And what it's doing is it's monitoring your payables inbox for PDF invoices, but it can also not just monitor it from email, from SharePoint and OneDrive as well. Pull it in, do the matching between your purchase documents and purchase invoicing, and then also draft your purchase invoice for you within Business Central. So that payables agent is coming on the second half of 2025 to help automate your payables processes. As I mentioned before, the agent billing is focused on messages, they're called. So you're going to consuming messages. So messages that are being sent in or out of the AI model and generate an answer, or if you are having a the agent complete a sales quote or order action, which then results in an agent action. So the messages do cost. The billing model can be looked up on Microsoft Learn, but what you can do is you can purchase message capacity and monitor your message capacity in the Power Platform Admin Center, as you can see in the bottom right-hand side of the screen. So you'll basically be sharing this message capacity with Copilot Studio, and you can pre-purchase blocks of messages. You can monitor how much messages are costing. Some messages cost a little bit more than others. And then you can also sign up a pay-as-you-go type of message capacity. You're only paying for the messages you're actually utilizing. So if you something you want to test out, you can sign up for a pay-as-you-go plan as well.
Gino, we just had a
Yes.
question, if it's okay if I interrupt you.
Go ahead.
The question is, do you have to create a quote first for the sales order agent to create an order? What about repeat orders?
I believe you can configure it to be able to create a sales order instead of a quote. So you can configure your business processes to start with a sales order if you want, if it's a repeat order or something like that. It's all part of that. There is a setup screen here that you will follow to configure the agent and how you want orders to be processed. It's all within the sales order agent setup.
Great, thank you.
Mhm. Alrighty, so some other Copilot functionality that's been added. There is a summarize with Copilot functionality that's been added to as a fact box to the most common card and document pages within Business Central. What it does is it summarizes the top bullet points of information you need to know about the specific record that you have open. These interactions are tailored to your BC role, so you may get a different summary if you are a sales order processor compared to a manufacturing manager role. So depending on your role, the summary may change. And then the summary is refreshed based on the latest data. So every time you open up the card, it will refresh just in the event that, sales have gone up or something new has been posted to the customer or something has changed on the customer. So this is something that gives a pretty cool insight to a specific record that you're looking at. Other items that have been added for productivity and Copilot, one, as I mentioned, the purchase agent is coming soon to preview. Autofill fields with Copilot. So when you're creating a new record, so customer, item, vendor, documents as well, Copilot can help assist you with auto filling in fields based on your interaction with that particular customer, item, vendor, record in the past, or records like that. So when you're creating a new customer, if you fill in, for instance, it's a fill in a customer with a specific posting group, Copilot can then say, oh, if you have, posting group of, general, business posting group of B2B customer, it'll suggest other fields that you filled in with B2B customers as well. And then chat with Copilot enhancements gives you the ability, like if you're asking Copilot questions within the system, it can look at things such as your custom PTE as well as ISVs that are installed in the environment as well. So that is something that they're adding to the Copilot chat. Next area is governance administration. So I don't have many bullet points on this one, but these are the few items that I want to talk about. So under governance and administration, you have the ability to handle environment management tasks with a Power Platform connector. So being able to restart environments, create new environments, delete new environments, all those different types of actions you can handle with the Power Platform connector. You can migrate record links and notes with the cloud migration migrate record links and notes with the cloud migration tools. This is something that was not available before. When you're migrating from on-premise Business Central up to Business Central Cloud, those would typically get left behind, but now they're going to move forward with a cloud migration. You can update sandbox environments to preview versions. So 30 days before a release of a new version of Business Central, Microsoft does typically release a preview version. And in the past, preview versions, you were only allowed to create a preview environment with Cronus data. You were never allowed to upgrade. Let's say you have a sandbox with your data in it to a preview version. Microsoft will be allowing that now, so you can play with a preview version of Business Central in a sandbox with your data. You can view app compatibility in the admin center. So, every with release, Microsoft runs scripts to check all the apps that are in your environment to ensure they're compatible with the latest version of Business Central. And then you usually get an email saying, oh, this app is incompatible with the next version. Well, instead of getting that email, a second place you can look is within the Business Central Admin Center now, too. So there's a greater visibility and app compatibility now. And then, and I had a duplicate on here. Upgrade cloud sandbox environments to preview versions. Already mentioned that one. Jumping into reporting and analytics. This is a pretty big area that Microsoft has made some significant improvements on. So I've got quite a number of slides here to get through. So the first one is analysis mode improvements. If you've never used analysis mode, please reach out to me. This is an area I would love to show you. Basically, it allows you to analyze data and create pivots directly within the Business Central client. It is just a separate mode off of a list page. So any list page in Business Central, this button will exist. And let's see if I can turn on a laser pointer here. This button exists on any list page in Business Central. If you click it, it will turn over to what's called analysis mode. And from here, you can slice and dice the data that's on a specific list page in Business Central to do things like pivot it and group it and gather totals and then be able to download it into Excel. You can even save analysis modes. You can even share them with other people, so you can go ahead and share a specific analysis. But one thing that was missing that Microsoft is now adding to this functionality is adding columns from related tables, which is huge. So this example that I have on my screen here from this specific analysis mode, what they're doing is you have the ability to add fields from the contact table within Business Central to the customer list and be able to pivot off of that. So a good example of an area that you can analyze further is your item list. From the item list, go ahead and add lot details from the item list on this, which is pretty cool as well. Now, this is something that is not available right now. This is going to be released, I believe, in 26.1 or 26.2. So it's not in your Business Central environment yet if you have already upgraded. But it will be released in one of the cumulative updates that are coming up here shortly. Microsoft has added some enhanced analytics for finance. There are many, many Excel reports that Microsoft is making generally available that are replacing or enhancing existing reports in the system. So like trial balance, accounts receivable reports, and fixed asset reports are all being delivered in the form of Excel templates. Microsoft has added a subscription billing Power BI app in Business Central. This Power BI app allows you to have a better overview of your subscription billing. So just here is a list of just some of the reports that the subscription billing app is going to include. This isn't an app source yet. I believe this is coming out in 26.2, so just in a couple months here, it will be released. But all these reports will be available as part of the Power BI apps that come included with Business Central. Microsoft has added some enhanced analytics for inventory, and one of those is a new query within a Business Central called Inventory by Location Analysis. This has been added. You can just search for it in your Business Central environment. Just use the Tell Me functionality. And what will happen is this query will open up in analysis mode by default. And you can do things like uh, analyze better geographical data regarding your inventory. So for instance, I've got this drilled down by like, okay, I want to be able to see where my inventory is by location uh, and what the quantity is. It's a simple analysis that I did directly out of this page because it's pulling fields from various tables. So places like the item record, the lot information table, the location table. So a lot of different tables have gone into this query, which makes it very easy to analyze your item and inventory data. There are a number of enhanced analytics and Power BI improvements for manufacturing. This is another big area of the supply chain section, which I'll get into in a minute, that Microsoft has significantly invested in for this release, especially for manufacturing companies. So there is a Power BI app out there right now for manufacturing, but what Microsoft did is they took a lot of feedback from users and sort of refactored the reports to give better data for end users. So for instance, I'll go through these ones a little quickly. So this report right here, that's part of the Power BI app for Business Central, is the release production orders report. We have a production scrap report that has been updated. Production order timeline, which gives a nice Gantt chart of your released production orders as well as a timeline for completion. Breakdown of your finished production order, which allows you to take a look at your actual cost. And then this is just your general production overview for the Power BI manufacturing app for Business Central. But that's not it for just Power BI. Microsoft has enhanced other analytics of the system. They're taking a lot of RDLC reports that are very old-fashioned and outdated, built on older technology, and moving them towards towards modern technology that they're implementing in the system, such as Excel and Word layouts. So there are multiple reports listed below that Microsoft has enhanced by using Word reports and Excel layouts that give you more flexibility to take your analytical data and slice and dice it to the way that your business needs to view it. So a couple examples that I'll go ahead and show here. Here's some legacy production cost reports. These are originally, several reports, not just one. So you're looking at your BOM cost, your rolled up cost shares, your detailed calculation, your quantity export. What Microsoft has done is taken these reports and put them into an Excel layout so they can download right into Excel. As you can see in the bottom, there's a bunch of tabs here that give you the additional detail for your cost shares for your production. And what this single Excel report is going to be doing is replacing these 4 reports here. So it's taking 4 reports, rolling them into an Excel layout, which also gives you the ability to analyze the data. Legacy work and machine center load reports. These are the legacy reports that are in the system today, that are in RDLC. Microsoft is replacing those with an Excel report, and as you can see, one Excel layout report is going to replace 3 RDLC reports in the system as well to give you better analytical tools to be able to look at the data and slice and dice it the way you want it to. Here's a legacy production order statistics report as it exists in Business Central prior to version 26. And your new production order statistics report, which will be available in both a Word layout as well as an Excel layout as well. And then with these changes, Microsoft is going to be obsoleting all of these RDLC reports because they have been converted into something that is much more analytical and much more easier for you to get to your data. As of right now in version 26, this is all currently a warning. So they're not gone right now, but in future versions of Business Central, Microsoft is going to remove these reports in lieu of the updated reports that come in Excel and Word layouts. Alrighty, the next module I want to go ahead and, or the next area I want to go ahead and focus on is in supply chain management. So this one has to be, I'd like to say that this is kind of the analytical reporting and manufacturing release of Business Central. And this is based off of my own opinion, not Microsoft or what they dictated, but you'll see that Microsoft has released a significant amount of manufacturing enhancements in Business Central for this release. The enhancements are focused around core functionality, reporting, which we went over, and Power BI, which we went over as well. These are all items that have been included in this release. I'm going to go ahead and jump through a number of those right now when it comes to the core functionality. One thing that you were never able to do before in Business Central, but you're able to do now is reopen a finished production order. What it does is it moves the production order from finished to release. You can then add or correct your consumption or outputs. And then once it's complete and you switch it back to finished, Microsoft will, or the system will then process the updated costs and variances based on the changes that you've made. So being able to reopen a finished production order, let's say somebody outputted, instead of 120, they outputted 1,200 or 1.2 million of a particular product. So it's giving you the ability to go back and fix instead of forcing yourself to do a journal entry to fix those items. You have the ability to change release production order status in bulk within Business Central. So before you were only able to select one released production order at a time and finish it or change its status. Now you can do those in bulk. And when you select multiples and you go ahead and change the status, you can select, and the change status screen pops up as it always would. There's the production flow for attachments as well. So Microsoft has added the ability for you to attach documents to your item, to your BOM lines. And when you create a production order, those attachments, as long as you check mark the flow to production transactions, those transactions will flow to, as an example, like here's an attachment on the production BOM. When you go into the release production order and you go to attachments, that attachment then shows up. So as you can see, I didn't give a good explanation of this, but I have an item sample attachment that's attaching to my item. I have a BOM attachment that's attaching to the BOM. And when I go into the attachments on a release production order, you see that both attachments now show up on that release production order. So if you have drawings or instructions or something that needs to be passed along with production transactions, this is a really cool addition. For the planning worksheet, you can carry out action messages and print multiple production orders at once. In the past, this would only print the last production order. Now all orders that were selected will print. Okay. Some enhancements to the way production BOMs are managed. There is now a production BOM version comparison, so you have the ability to compare versions between production BOMs, as you can see below. I'm bringing up a production comparison for this base 123, and you can see here I have my base 123 product. I am comparing versions 1 and versions 2. and you can see that I have my items that are building this bomb, this production bomb, and then I'm comparing the bomb version 1 to bomb version 2. There are bomb line maintenance improvements, so you can select multiple items at once when you are adding items to a bomb. But even better yet, you now have also have the ability to download the bomb lines into Excel and edit in Excel and do a publish back to Business Central, especially when you have bombs that have a lot of lines on them. You have the ability to edit in Excel, add all the bomb lines that you need, and publish them back to Business Central in addition to the selecting multiple items. Some enhancements to subscription billing in Business Central. There are multiple enhancements. I'm not going to dive deep into each one of these, but the first one is a pretty big one. What it did is they started by aligning the module with user experience and terminology. When subscription billing was originally released last year, there was a lot of terminology that was released with subscription billing that made it very similar to the service management module within Business Central, a module that is completely unrelated to the subscription billing module. So what Microsoft did is they renamed a lot of the pages and tasks within the subscription billing module to align with subscription billing and not service management. So it makes it a lot easier to separate out the two modules and identify which one you're actually working in. You have the ability to create subscription contract lines manually when before you were not. You had to go through a multi-step process to be able to create a contract line. You can track rebill quantity changes. You can track rebill quantity changes in subscriptions. So if you have a subscription that changes in the middle of the month, let's say somebody has purchased 10 licenses of a piece of software, but now they want to purchase 15. It allows you, the subscription management module allows you to monitor those changes. Unit cost has been added to the subscription lines. And then also, if this is a module that you don't understand if it's good for your business or not, or if you can use it or not, there is a demo data set that is available for subscription billing as well. So you can go into a Cronus environment and create demo data for subscription billing so you can then kick the tires on that module. For some other notable mentions that are part of this release that I just didn't have the time to dive deep into, but I want to make sure that everyone is aware of some of these additions. There are quite a number of enhancements when it comes to e-commerce and the Shopify integration. So if you're an organization that utilizes the Shopify connector, there are a large amount of enhancements surrounding that, specifically and how you interact with B2B e-commerce transactions, as well as pricing, etc. And also metadata. For e-documents, Microsoft has added quite a bit of enhancements and feature additions to e-document. Now, this is an area that I think I'm going to plan to do a webinar in the future on, but this is an area that I think is underutilized because it's regulated a lot more in Europe and not at all in the United States, but it provides some additional automation in your Business Central environment. So if you're not using it today, I would encourage you to start looking at it a little bit. Like I said, I'm not going to dive deeper into it, but e-documents allows you to do purchase order matching using Copilot, preview documents, auto create documents, auto embedded attachments, create a new e-document from a posted invoice. There's a number of interface changes, connectors that can help you read the e-document formats. So it's a pretty cool module that really doesn't get used much in the United States, but I think it's an area that is going to grow significantly in the future, especially when it comes to moving into a more paperless world. There's been a number of sustainability enhancements and feature additions. A lot of them focus around Copilot by suggesting your carbon emissions utilizations and helping you create the journals around that. And there's also a number of reporting additions as well. Other areas include also the frontline worker opportunity, so the integration with field service. Field service has a new integration type, so you can now integrate into both service management and projects within Business Central. Before it was just one of those. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. I believe it was just service management, but don't quote me on that. But you can now integrate in both projects and service management. But also there's some new functionality. So your service orders will be aligned with work orders. Service line item lines are aligned with work order incidents. Service lines aligned with work order product and services. You can do a location to warehouse mapping between field service and Business Central. Inventory available has a relationship between Business Central and field service. And a couple of other additions as well. So if you are an organization that does field service and you're using other field service applications, they're all great, but there's becoming more and more of this native integration between Dynamics 365 Field Service and Business Central. So to start wrapping things up, I want to just mention some upcoming webinars that are going to be diving a lot deeper into some of the items that we talked about today. I know I stood at a very 1,000-foot view to give you an idea of what is coming out in this release, but over the next couple of months, there are going to be some webinars that are diving deeper on a specific topic. So the first one, I definitely recommend if you're a manufacturing organization. Marvel at the plethora of new manufacturing functionality in Business Central. It's going to dive deeper into those manufacturing enhancements that came out of this release. And they're going to talk about a large number of them. The 100 plus Power BI reports, these are all of the Power BI reports that have been released over the last couple of releases for Business Central. We're going to be diving deeper in one, how do they work? How do you connect them to Business Central, Microsoft's logic behind them, and then how you can get them working in your organization. And then also developing smart agents for Dynamics 365 and beyond, give you the ability to dive into Copilot agents and see how the background. So it's a little bit more technical webinar where you can dive in and see how to build agents. So please register for those webinars if you have not yet. This will give you a good opportunity to dive deeper in some of these topics that we talked about today. And just some additional resources. These are some aka.ms resources. So the Business Central YouTube channel, aka.ms WAC BC YouTube. This gives you the ability to watch additional videos that explain and walk through and demo some of the features that were released with this version of Business Central, as well as past Business Central releases. And then if you want to read more detailed notes on the release plan as well, aka.ms/BC release plan will give you the full details on the release for 2025 Wave 1. So with that, I want to go ahead and wrap up and toss it back to Joy. Joy, are there any questions in the queue by any chance that I have not answered yet?
I do not have anything right now. I did put in the chat a link to our events page to register for the webinars that Gino just referenced, and then also see a full list of all of our upcoming webinars. So please go to that page for all that good stuff. But yeah, Gino, I do not have anything right now for you.
Awesome. Well, in that case, I just want to thank everybody for joining today and listening to me get excited about all the new feature releases in Business Central. But if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. But otherwise, thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you all for attending.